I feel like a lot of people need to like put a foot in their mouth to really know what it's about. No. Everyone's so nice and I'm like trying to come on to them and they're like, no. And I'm like, why not? Friends that I fuck, because I fuck a lot of my friends. Yeah. Just so you know.
Hey, I'm Ariel Demure.
Hi, I'm Maddie Collins. Hey guys, I'm Maya Wolf.
Hi, I'm Little Puck.
I'm Bree Mills, and you're listening to the Adult Time Podcast.
The Adult Time Podcast.
Hi.
Zariah Aura.
How are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are someone who, when I started this podcast, was like top of my list. Because from the second that we first met and started working together, we've always just had such great conversations.
I never stopped talking.
No, well, I also never stopped talking. As we were just talking before we started airing, or when we were rolling, but we hadn't called action on this. We didn't even realize that they had slated and everything. Yeah. So I figured we should bring that conversation to the masses. So here we are.
Let's do it.
So here we are. So the first question I have for you, because I've always been curious, is what is behind the name Zariah Aura? So what's your inspiration for your stage name?
Oh, goodness. Well, I wanted to keep the Z because before I transitioned, I went by Xander Lee. And so I was already kind of used to the Z being there. I think it was like easier for me to like tell people to call me Z in the transition of becoming a woman. So I was like, let me just call me Z for now while I figure out what I'm going to go by. So I went by like Z Lee for a little bit too. And then I really like the name Mariah. I really like the name, but I did not want to go by Mariah. You know, I was like, I'm not gonna be Mariah. I'm Mariah. You know, so that's always like how I explain it to people though, because people will be like Zariah or something, and I'm like, no, it's like Mariah but with a Z. And so there's nothing too deep into it, but I just wanted to keep the Z, and I wanted to be Mariah without being Mariah.
So it's like the aura of Mariah,
yes,
but with the Z.
Exactly.
That's cool. The Z has always like been one of my favorite. Like it is the best letter in the alphabet.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, and it's underutilized. It's underrated, which is a good segue into the game we're going to play to kick off today's conversation, which is overrated or underrated.
Okay, let's do that.
So I'm not responsible for these. I'm just responsible for getting the answers. When I teased this out to you before the podcast, you said your eyes lit up, and I can't remember. You made some hand gesture, so I think it's maybe underrated. But spit play.
I love spit play. It's too underrated because I love it so much.
Okay, what do you love about spit play?
Oh, goodness. There's so much you can do with spit. I love blowing bubbles with it. I love getting it all over my tits. I have this like little thing that I do with play partners, and I will just drool like all over myself, and like it's going down my tits, down to my dick, and I don't know, it's just so hot. And like I did it one time and like gagged myself with my fingers and just was like just spit going everywhere, and they were like, I can't believe you're like a fountain. And I really am. I mean, you've seen me on set. I can literally make puddles. Like the whole floor, the whole couch is fucked up. You got to put a little tarp under me. So
you're like a spit connoisseur.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
What about orgies? Are orgies overrated or underrated?
No, underrated. I love orgies. That's all me and my man like to do.
So okay, but orgies are not for everyone. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, it's too much going on. Like for me, I would get, if I was in the middle of an orgy, I would be so overstimulated in a second that I would have to like just go in my corner. So what about orgies do you love? Especially you said you and your partner like.
Yeah, well, there's really so much to do. I mean, that you never have like a moment to just sit there. You know, it's like I get like, you know, if you get too overwhelmed, but no, I like being able to just like grab something here, touch something there, put my mouth here, get something on the other side. I don't know. It's just so much fun. There's just so much to do. And then me and my man just like love showing off for each other. So when we do orgies, it's just like looking back to each other, like, look at what I'm doing.
Oh, it's like a guaranteed audience.
Yeah,
too, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And he's always watching. Like he'll be getting fucked, but he's watching me. At the same time, I'm like, baby, pay attention to what you're like, no, this is so hot.
Yeah. When did you discover that you like first were really into orgies?
With my man, yeah. Before getting with Nicky, there was like, it was just really hard. Like the partners that I was with just weren't good at it. Like it was just either too much jealousy or too much drama happening during it. That once I got with Nicky, we just click. We know how to do it.
Yeah. Foot fetish.
Oh, y'all know I love I love feet.
I feel like I'm like bowling and I keep getting strikes here.
You know, I always have a foot in my mouth. I prefer getting feet in my mouth than putting mine. Like you can play with my feet, but I like to be the one in charge with it. So definitely underrated. I feel like a lot of people need to like put a foot in their mouth to really know what it's about. They taste so good.
Yeah. What about edging?
Oh my gosh, you're getting all my things.
It's like I read a bio here.
Yeah. I think it's underrated too. People don't realize that you can just keep going, and I feel like it makes the orgasm just better. I don't know.
Okay, so I have a question about edging. Because again, I'm just sort of like kind of projecting my own thoughts on it. But like, do you find that edging it builds up anticipation to the eventual come, or does it kind of cause anxiety? I would feel like if I was on the verge of coming all day long, but I was like kind of not doing it, that I would get very anxious.
I guess. I mean, no, I like the anticipation of it. I like knowing that like I could accidentally flick my dick a little too quickly and I'm going to, I'm gonna come.
Yeah, okay.
So I kind of like that. I like that like thrill of like, how close can I get to like, oh, no, stop, you know?
Yeah.
Because then I literally can't even think about something really hot or I'm gonna come, you know? So I have to like fully like, I can't even try to think about something like bad or gross or like that will make me like not be horny.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea what's gonna go through my head. So like if I just even think about something hot, I'm like, oh God, just close your eyes, don't think about nothing, just
Do you ever have to do that in a scene where you have to like, for runtime or whatever the case may be, just like get yourself down when you're really close?
Oh yeah. It actually happened recently. And it was just really hard to get myself to like chill out. And it happened twice during a scene and I was like almost gonna come. And like I went to go throw my scene partner off of me and I was like, and they're like, no, not yet. Like it's way too early. You still haven't even done this. And I was like, oh my God. Like it was really, really difficult. And again, I couldn't think about anything. I was like, don't touch me. Don't look at me.
You just have to kind of like just immediately stop everything and like wipe your mind.
Exactly.
What about VR sex? Have you done any VR scenes?
I have done VR scenes.
Yeah.
I think they're really hot. It's funny. Whenever I do watch them, I kind of think of myself as somebody else. So like, it's funny. Like I'll watch my VR stuff with Nicky and we'll be calling her, which is me, her. And it's so funny. I'm like, oh my God, she's like right there. Oh, wow. She looks so good. And he's like, baby, that's you. And I'm like, yeah, but like not really. Like it trips me out to think that that's me, So I have to kind of imagine myself as some other model.
So you watch your own VR scenes.
Oh yeah.
That is trippy.
Yeah, it is very trippy because like it's really good. Like those Oculus, like it's like right there, like in your face. And it like literally looks like the person is in your room, and it like completely like puts you in that place, in the scenery. And so it like trips me out. And so, but it's really hot. It's very detailed. And I really enjoy it. But I did sit there and watch like all of my friends' VR porns too. Cause like at the Oculus, I was like, hey, I have it right now. I'm going to just watch as much VR porn as I can.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. I love it.
Yeah. The idea of being able to sort of have sex with yourself.
Yeah.
It's kind of trippy.
Yeah. No, it's really hot. Nicky gets really into it with me.
Last overrated, underrated, cuckolding.
I haven't done it too much, so I feel like I don't know what to say about that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not underrated because otherwise you would have done it.
No, exactly.
But is it something that sort of, do you find yourself curious about it, or it's just pretty neutral?
Yeah, I sometimes think about it, but I don't know, because I'm really bad at like not interacting with somebody when they're in the room. So like if it's happening, I'm like wanting to interact with them in a different way than what cucking is. And so I don't know, I get a little nervous about it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Would you ever be the cuck?
I can be a cuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I can do the cucking.
Yeah.
I can do the cucking.
That is underrated. for
Yes,
you. Yeah.
yes. I can do the cucking. I don't know about getting somebody to like cuck for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
All right, so Zariah, we talked about right at the top of our chat today the sort of inspiration behind your name and how you started with the letter Z having significance because it was your sort of name before and during your transition.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through, especially for those who are listening who may not be familiar with it or have not had as many experiences hearing a trans woman journey? What was your particular journey like, and how did it end up kind of having you come into our industry?
Oh goodness, the journey of a trans woman.
The journey, I'll say the journey of your experience.
My transition. Well, I mean, it was really tough. It's been a tough journey. I love where I'm at now. I guess I started off, identifying as like a little gay boy. But I always knew that I wanted to be a girl. Like right away since I was a kid, I gravitated towards the feminine. I already knew that I liked boys, which was what was confusing for me about liking girls because it didn't make sense to everybody. Because like, oh no, like there's no way that you could like girls if you are, because femininity to them was that I was gay, So that was difficult, I think, navigating like kind of understanding myself while everyone else is telling me who I am. And then that like led into me just like expressing my femininity as like a gay boy and just kind of like sticking with that label. And then going into drag. I did drag for years. It's been now, goodness, almost 7 years since I first started professionally like doing drag and like working in clubs. And so that is where I think I stopped suppressing the wanting of, or, the desire to start transitioning, because like people brought it up to me a lot. And I mean, even my family, they were like, you want to be a girl, don't you? Like, and I was like so scared to like admit it, because to them it was not in like I wanted to make sure you like know who you are, like you're okay. They were like saying it in a negative way,
Yeah.
And so I was just like, no, I don't want to be a girl. No, me.
Look, honey, the first step towards realizing your dream of you building a family. This is Grace, and she's gonna be able to take care of you no matter how sick you feel.
Where are you going?
I need to go shopping.
I already have everything prepared for you.
Hey, you can't drink that much caffeine. Honey, it's just not a good time. Okay, it's just not a good time.
Matthew, please.
It's just...
Maggie, just give me your hand. Give me your hand. Give it to me.
Get out of my way.
It's just fine.
Get out of my way.
What's her temperament like?
Worrying.
Not good.
I want you to make me mother.
Let's take some time to think about it.
I want you to make me mother.
What do you think?
I don't want you here anymore. I want you to make me a mother.
You're not supposed to be doing this. You know you're on bed rest.
I want you to make me a mother.
We're gonna have to make a decision in her perineum.
I want you to make me a mother.
There you go, Mama. You're doing such a good job.
I want you to make me a mother.
Laura, you are fully dilated, all right? It is time for you to start pushing.
I want you to make me a mother.
I know how sacred motherhood is. You're bringing a baby into this world. Isn't that just so special?
And so, yeah, I think drag was just like that opening of my mind where I was able to just like show this feminine side of myself, this like sexy side of myself. Cause I was a sexy drag queen. Like I wasn't just like all.
I think you showed me pictures the first time we met.
I was a sexy drag queen. I was out there making people want to fuck me, and people were just like, wait a second, like I come out here to like, laugh at these queens and like laugh with them, and she's over here making me want to fuck her, which was also very exciting for me. Cause I was like, oh, you think I'm a hot girl, But yeah, I think drag really was the thing that helped me get to where I am. And it took a few years of me really finding my persona and finding my place in the queer community to find the trans woman in my life that had like kind of like led me there, gave me the advice that I needed. And then COVID, once COVID happened, I was able to fully like sit with myself, learn myself, and come to terms that I'm a transgender woman, and it's been amazing. I'm so happy that I did the jump, and I was really scared at first. I didn't think I would start hormones or anything like that. I was just like, I had so many other things going on in my head that I was like, I don't want to deal with all of that. So it was a little scary. I was scared to mess with my brain chemistry more than it already gets messed with every day, you know? So yeah, I finally, started the process, and I don't know, I can't look back. It's been amazing.
You hinted on something that really resonates with me, because I had a very similar experience growing up, where it's like the sort of separation between gender identity and sexuality, and so often gender and sexuality are intertwined in people's definitions.
Yeah.
And I know I grew up with a lot of body dysmorphia and gender dysmorphia, because I felt, I looked around, and all the guys, that I saw, that's who I wanted to model after.
Yeah.
And I definitely knew that I liked girls from an early age, but when I sort of saw representations of like lesbian culture, that wasn't how I saw myself. And I really, really struggled, where, for well into probably like my early 20s, I was always on the fence of like, is it sexuality for me that I'm struggling with in my identity, or is it a gender identity that I'm struggling with? And ultimately I came to terms through meeting people, kind of like how when you kind of were embraced by the drag community, you started feeling more comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
I met a great group of lesbians in my 20s who were all sizes, shapes, styles, femme, masc, the whole spectrum. And I realized like, there is a fit. There's not like one type.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it definitely I think if anything, like giving people space to understand the nuance between gender and sexuality, especially as they're growing up and going through adolescence and coming into terms with themselves, it's important to help people navigate that, because they're so often squished together, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I like that you brought that up, because that was, I think, what was hard for me with transitioning was that I didn't know that there was a fit, that there was like a fit for me as well, because I like felt like, I don't know, like I think my dick for me was like a big part of myself, and from hearing from other people, it was like, if you're not going to get rid of your dick, like you're not a woman. You don't fit into the being a woman. Like you're just trying whatever. They had their own ideas of what it is to be a trans woman, and so that's what kind of pushed me away. And I was so scared. But once I like realized that there are other trans women out here who are so proud of them, like with their dick, and like out there as women, because we're women, and I was so confused, thinking that I had to fit this idea of like I had to go and get surgery, I had to go and do all these things, and so I didn't think I fit in, and especially being in like the way that like we as like society, or most of society, expects us to transition, I didn't fit that mold. I'm natural. I haven't had any alterations to myself, and so like I thought that I didn't fit in. I thought that I wasn't woman enough then, because I didn't want to go and get my boobs done. I didn't want to go and get my face done. I didn't want to get rid of my dick, and so I just didn't think that I was a trans woman, because it didn't fit to what everyone else was doing and what everyone else was saying to me. But yeah, I'm glad that I was able to, get introduced to the community and see that they're all different types of transition.
Yeah.
All different types of transition.
So you discovered through drag that you were a very sexy drag performer.
Yeah.
And that you liked that.
Oh yeah.
So once, and obviously COVID was a real, obviously it's such a turning point for so many people in so many ways.
Oh yeah.
But for you, it gave you that space to really like take the decision, take the leap. When did you decide to enter sex work and to enter the industry?
It was actually before my 1 year of transitioning. Well, actually, it was during COVID when I started to do like OnlyFans and stuff like that, as a little boy going into my like non-binary like space, because I was like so confused in who I was. Just like, let me just fit between the lines, more gender fluid and stuff like that. And that was in was it 2019? End of 2019, right before COVID started. And so I started doing OnlyFans. I did that for maybe like few years. And then when I started transitioning, I was already doing the OnlyFans thing. And so I started seeing more things on Twitter. I had gotten an offer to do porn and I was too scared. I was like, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Like I want to, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. I was just still so dysphoric, you know, I was like not ready. And then it was like 11 months into my transition that I finally did go and like do the thing. I got an offer, or I went on set with my ex-boyfriend who was doing his first shoots. And they saw me on set and they're like, do you do porn? I was like, no, I don't. They're like, are you sure? Like, do you want to do porn? And I was like, you know what? I'll try it.
Yeah.
Fucking killed it. And
Was that with Groovy?
That was with no. It was with trans roommates.
Okay.
So that was like my first few like very low level shoots, and then a few months later, I thought I was like ready for sure to hit the mainstream stuff, and I I sent my application to Groovy.
Yeah.
And like not even 12 hours later, they were like, "Oh my God, we want you so bad." And
Yeah.
so
Well, I remember because when we first worked together, you were like a brand ambassador or like in kind of regularly working with Groovy.
Yeah.
And so I was like very happy that you were also available to work with us. But obviously, you know, Steven is like, you know, a real pioneer within the trans erotica space. And so yeah, what was your sort of first experience like on those mainstream sets? And then do you remember your first experience working with us, and what were some of your takeaways from that?
So my first experiences with the mainstream was just so, I don't know, it was just so great, like to see myself out there like on the internet and like actually like have everybody like really like love me right away. Like not even like a week or two after I shot, like everyone already knew who like I was right away. I was getting like offers from so many other places, just like, hey, like we want to shoot you, or like, you know, a lot of Vegas loved me. Vegas people were just like obsessed. And I was like, oh wow, this is so cool. They actually know who I am. And it just happened really quickly. I just like rose really fast, and just like seeing my name, like, you know, and having people like be like, oh, she's gonna be the next big thing, or just, I don't know, like liking the way that I did my work, and just, I don't know, it was just really great. So I really loved that. The experience of working on set was so different than what I expected. And so when I went in there, I was like, I don't know, I was like expecting something completely different than what I saw. And so I had fun with it. I felt really hot, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with Groovy when I did. Yeah. And then when I went to work with D.O.L.L, oh my gosh, I remember that was
we put you in a barista costume.
It was such an amazing experience. I loved it so much. The team was amazing. It was so cool to meet you, because I had like wanted to meet you for so long, and I had been just wishing to work with Adult Time, you know. And so getting to meet you was super cool. Getting to work with Cora and getting to work with Leanna. I just had such a great time. That day was a tough day though. We had to wait for Cora to drive in from Vegas,
That's right.
Yes. And it was raining.
Yes.
And then it started to flood. And do you remember oh wait, I think you had left by then.
I was stuck in the floods trying to get home at that point. Yeah.
No, well the power went out. It was so crazy. It went out right after we came. So like
you had caused it.
Oh my God, it was crazy. We were like getting ready to like, you know, do the pops or whatever. And I remember we like both came or whatever, and then not even like maybe, I don't know, like 20, 30 seconds after, boom, the lights turn off. And we all went, imagine if that had happened right when we were coming. So we were like freaking out.
I'm immediately thinking of the footage. Yeah.
We're like, did we get it? Did we get it? And so, yeah, that was really interesting. It was, I was like overthinking so much that day. I was like so scared that I was like gonna mess up, and it just was so intimidating though. Like seeing the big cameras, like those cameras are huge, you know, and seeing as many people on set. And yeah, I was very nervous, but I felt really great with the team. And
Oh yeah, and you came like I wouldn't have ever known it.
No
Like,
one
you
ever
came on-
no one
you
ever
were very
notices
calm.
it. I'm really
You were
good at
very
hiding it.
collected, yeah. You were so because you mentioned that when you started shooting mainstream, like things erupted for you really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was like one day there was no Zariah, and the next day it was all Zariah. Like I just started getting hit up with, have you worked with her? Have you heard of this girl named Zariah? She's amazing. She's new. So I was really excited to meet you because I like by the point that we came together, you were already like coming at the top of like all these request lists and stuff. And it was such a funny scene because I had to sort of yell at you all.
Oh, it was hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's funny because it was an ad scene. And for those that don't know, like there's certain scenes that we do where it's a scene, but the sort of story we tell at the beginning, the intention is it's going to get cut down into this kind of silent movie ad.
Yes.
And those are the ads you see on the hub and like on those sites. And that one did really well.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it did. It really did.
really well.
It got into the top of the scenes.
It
ended up in like the top something of 2020.
Yeah, it was a top scene.
Yeah.
It was a popular ad. And our ad team, obviously the main ingredients for the success were like you all as the cast. And I believe the stellar Starbucks ripoff barista uniforms. But apparently when I'm yelling in an ad scene, apparently that is also an ingredient. So
No, it was great. You killed it. It was so much fun. I remember I can see your face right now when you come out. You know, like I had so much fun with that one.
So we've done a lot of cool things since.
Yeah.
I want to highlight a couple of them and hear a little bit about like your experience with them. Let's start with your MUSES episode because you were our last Transfixed muse, the latest and the greatest.
Yes.
So tell everyone a little bit about what that project meant to you and how you came up with your idea.
Oh goodness, it was so amazing. That project is one of my like favorites, like absolutely favorites. I showed it to like all my friends and like I even showed it to like just because the beginning is like it doesn't show anything like sexual or anything. So I was able to like show my sisters and like some family members and be like, because like they're like so interested in the work stuff, and the times that I can show them something that doesn't show everything, like obviously sexual, was just so awesome to me. So being able to show it to like friends and be like this is my baby, like we came up with this together, and it just it meant so much to me. The care and the time and everything that we put into it was just, it like blew my mind. I was like, wow, they really care. They're really making sure that I get exactly what I want, the person that I want in here, the ideas, the styling, all of that. And so I just felt so proud and so happy after the fact. But like shooting it was just so cool. Even though we were all like really like trying to get the timing right, and it can get stressful. Everyone was so cool. Everyone was so nice about it. So I really enjoyed that. And I don't know, being able to like bring that idea to life was really important to me because I have so many things that I'm into that I don't really see, in porn and things like that. And like I think for me, like the idea that I had was brought to life with me and Nicky, because Nicky and I were like brainstorming, and he was like, I would give him ideas of like what I wanted, and he was like, no, that doesn't really sound like what you really want. Like I feel like you want something else. Like let's think of what you really like, baby. And so we like started talking and stuff, and he was like, once we like started brainstorming, he's like, see, I told you like this, you like that, and we were able to come up with the idea of like coming on to the crew, and it was
which would never happen in real life.
Of course not.
He left a week ago.
Remember to call me.
I'm really lonely. And there are days where the only other voice I hear is my echo. Yes, Christine, I'm familiar with AI. I don't live under a rock. Oh my God. I thought you were Daryl. It's so real.
I'm not your stepson. I'm an AI companion. I have plenty of suggestions to help you explore intimacy safely and privately.
This is a lot to take in.
Would you like me to call you Mom like he does?
I didn't realize how much I'd missed it.
You got it, Mom. Mom? Mom? Are you down here?
But that was always like the thing that like I thought like porn was like. I thought it was completely different than like the professional way that it is. I thought that people were fucking on set, you know, that people behind the camera were like, you know, touching you, whatever. And so when I came into porn, I was like, oh, you don't want to touch me? You're like not into it?
Yeah,
like,
everybody's
whatever,
like,
you know?
no.
Everyone's so nice, and I'm like trying to come on to them, and they're like, no, and I'm like, why not? So for me, that like turns me on. Like I will say like that is what makes me really excited, is like having the people behind the camera be into it. So like I love looking around and seeing who's watching this or that, because like as professional as we all are, we're obviously in sex work because we like seeing what we're seeing, and like you know. So that is what I wanted to show. I wanted to show that like I have this fantasy of like getting with the person who's like in the, you know, in the position of power as like
The photographer in this case.
Yeah. In this case, that was the way that we were able to make
And
it
it
happen.
was Tommy King.
It was Tommy King, and I love Tommy.
Good choice.
Yeah, no, I was so happy because I didn't know if you guys were going to be able to get her, and I didn't know if that was too far fetched of an idea. And that same day too, you were like, "Oh, we got her." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This is really happening."
Yep. I just like to be a matchmaker.
And like, well, because like with Tommy, I love Tommy. One of her scenes that's like my absolute favorite, and I can like see it in my head right now, is her blow bang that she did for a company. And I remember meeting her at my first AVN, and I was like, we were walking into the place at the award show. And I remember I like walked up to her. I was like, I just want to say I really love your blow bang that you did, and like it's like really inspiring. It's like I really want to do a blow bang too, and I still haven't.
Taking notes.
Yes, I really want it. I really, really want it. And so yeah, I remember telling her how much I wanted to see, or how much I loved that, and I wanted to do something like that. And I was just obsessed with her. She's so beautiful, and yeah, I was just so happy that you were able to make it happen. And ever since then, we've worked together again, and yeah, have a good little relationship.
You've mentioned him several times, so we have to talk about Nicky.
What?
We have to talk about your great love, which is so adorable to watch online from a distance. Yeah, so you and your partner Nicky have this like, at least from everything that's presented to me, this like really beautiful love story. Can you tell us about it? How did you guys meet? What's going on behind that magic recipe?
Oh goodness, I absolutely adore that man. He is my biggest fan, and I just love him so much. We actually met at my birthday drag show that I was performing at. And it was really, really cute because it was 2 days before my birthday. And he just so happened to be out 2 days before his mom's birthday. So me and his mom share a birthday.
Nice.
And 30 years apart, same day. And so that was really, really trippy, like meeting. It's like, wait, what? And so he was out. It was his first time at a club. Can you believe that? Like first time going out and clubbing and stuff. And so me and my ex-boyfriend were together at the time. And so I'm performing. He recognizes my ex and goes up to him. It's like, hey, like, where's your girl? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like they start talking because he had recognized us from online, but he didn't know that I was there. So, oh, she's here. She's actually performing at this show. It's her birthday show. And he didn't recognize me right away because I'm in like drag like esque stuff. And so like he says it as like he looks over, and I like just like turn without looking at him. So I just start walking towards my partner at the time, my ex, and I'm like looking at him, and I'm like ignoring that he's right there. And so he thought it was so hot because like I just like right away was just like ignore this guy, walk up like, who's this? And like turned to him, and he's like, ugh, like freaked out. And I got excited because like at first I didn't recognize him either, but I didn't realize that we were in a Twitter retweet group at the time. And this was like when it was literally 2 weeks after my first shoot. Like
Wow,
I had
okay.
just shot like for the first time. And so we were both at like, I think 5,000 followers on Twitter. And so we were doing the retweet groups, and I finally realized it was him. I was like, oh, I recognize you. I was like, I know who you are. And he got super excited about that. And so then he was like, well, if you guys are going to be here, like I'm here with my brother. Like I'd like to hang out at some point. And so we were like, yeah, we're going to be here all night. Because it was afters, like kind of like after thing. So there's like no alcohol, but you can stay there till like 4 or 5 in the morning at the club. And he thought it was a rave, which if y'all know, y'all know me. I love raves. I thought that was so funny. I was like, this is not a rave. Like, this is literally just a club. Like, it's a party. And so I just thought that was so funny, and I thought it was so cute. And so I was like, well, we'll see you at the afters.
Yeah.
And so we went and like go and club around to other places, and then we come back. And before that, we had said we were gonna take a picture. And so I'm like, it's my birthday, so I'm like being a little slut, like running around making out with like so many people, you know?
Taking advantage of
the moment. It's all about me, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to go home with me. So I'm like running around the club, and I like pass him, and he goes, I thought we were gonna take a picture. And I was like, oh yeah? And like I got like all in his face. And so he goes, yeah. And then like got in my face too. It's the craziest moment ever. I'll like explain it. It was like a movie. Everything around like me fell apart. Like,
yeah, it was like that eye contact.
Oof, getting emotional. I love that man.
Yeah. Well, did it feel like a magnet?
Oh yeah.
That's how I describe it.
Automatically like just started kissing.
Yeah.
Which was so crazy to me. Sorry.
No. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's an adorable, like, true love story. Yeah.
Do you have tissues?
This is the first time on the Adult Time podcast we haven't. Can we get some tissues? Some tissues brought in.
I'm an emotional little girl.
No. We'll get some brought in. But yeah, like I when my wife and I first met, like, because we had met each other beforehand, but when we had that moment where you just like look at each other and it's different. I was at a dinner, and she was talking to me, and I was kind of like in my own world at that moment, so I wasn't really paying attention. And then I got back up to my hotel room, and she had sent me a DM that said, I want to kiss your face a bunch of times. And I looked at that, and I thought to myself, I should really not answer that.
Right.
But I was curious, so I said, will I have any face left? And from that moment, we never.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry.
We never stopped. And it felt like a magnet. Like, that's the only way we're like, kind of come hell or come water, I was going to be with that person regardless.
No, it definitely felt like a magnet for sure. So like I said, we literally like looked at each other, and then right away we both just started kissing. And that was so trippy because like it just like felt like everything like fell apart. Everything went black. Like I just couldn't see anybody around me. And we just started making out. And like, for like a good like 3 minutes, and everyone said it felt like forever.
Yeah.
And like all of my friends and everyone are around us, because like at this time, like I'm a pretty big drag queen in Denver. Like I'd been doing it for years, and so everyone knew who I was. It's like, you know, at one of my favorite bars, and so all my friends are watching, and they're confused at who this guy is, because they're like, isn't she here with her boyfriend? And so my boyfriend is standing right there at the time, my ex. He's standing right there. I'm like making out with him. I get lost in the moment. And then like we like separate, and like I like look around. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? You know? I like look at my ex, and like he was like, okay.
Yeah,
he was like watching me have, he's like watching me have my fun, you know, with everyone. But it ended up being just like the moment that I knew that like I was gonna like fall in love with this man. I knew right then. I was like, this is the guy, you know? And so I remember I ran up to my ex, and I was like, hey, like, could I bring him home? Like that was because I said, I was like, I want to bring someone home for my birthday. And so I had already told him that. And so I right away made the choice. I was like, him, he's the one. And so I asked him, he said yes. At that point, like we all, like, because we're all little sluts, all of our friends and I, like, we were like making out, like doing our thing. And so it's me and like 3 other trans boys, and we're just like all making out on the dance floor. My ex at the time included too. And so we're all like having fun, whatever. And I convinced him to like let me take him home. It's almost the end of the night. And so we all like go to leave. And I thought all of us were gonna go, you know, we're like, oh yeah, we'll all just go together.
Yeah.
Turns out it was just gonna be him and my ex and me. The other friend ended up like, oh no, I'm not gonna go. And so, we ended up going home. We have like the best threesome ever. Super hot. And yeah, I just couldn't stay away from him. So after that, we were hanging out all the time. And it was like I said, it was right before my my birthday. So Christmas is a week later. So we spent our first Christmas right away together because both of our partners were traveling for Christmas. So we were by ourselves. And I was like, well, I want to hang out with somebody. Like, let's hang out. And so we did. And it was great. And then after that, we just kept hanging out. One thing led to another, and now here we are almost, now it's been 3 years, about to be 3 years, and yeah.
So what do you love the most about Nicky?
Oh, he's so sweet. He's the sweetest little thing. I just love how he treats people. He's very, very nice, very kind, and he's very thoughtful. So like that's my favorite thing is just the way that he interacts with people, the way he makes people feel. The way I can see that people feel when they talk to him, listens really well. And that's what I think a lot of people need. They just need to be heard. And he gives that to people.
I will say Nicky has, over the course of this year, started working with several of our crews, but with within the kind of the production team. And I will echo that he is always attentive, very caring, very good PA, always there with the baby wipes or whatever you need.
Be.
Yeah, no. So I echo the sweetness.
I'm glad.
I hear that there's a video of the two of you having full on public sex at Folsom. That's what I'm reading here.
Yeah, you didn't see it?
I did not see it, but I am an old boring soul. What happened there?
Yeah, oh my God. Okay, so Folsom was such an experience. That was our first Folsom. And actually the videos that everyone saw for like pretty much the whole last year were videos that everyone else took of us because so many people were there like recording us because we're like in the middle of the street, you know, just like fucking. And it was so hot. I was so nervous when we got there. And at first I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'll be able to do it. Like, is my dick going to get hard? Am I going to even be able to do anything? And I was in like 7-inch pleasers. So I'm like these huge clear pleasers and like running around this friggin', the street. So I was really, really nervous. And those videos that were posted were from other people. So we just recently posted a clip or two of like all of the shenanigans and stuff. And like I have an idea, like, because we're going to go to Folsom again. I want to, use the footage from this year, next year. And then people will start now being able to see the footage from last year, this year.
There you go.
And so, it was so exhilarating. I had never done that before. I'd never fucked in public like that, at least not with an audience. And we like stopped traffic. Like it was really, really cool. I think that video that everyone saw was we had literally just started making out. We just started making out in front of like everyone. Like, and it was crazy. You just see in the video like people like slowly start like going around us. There's like a whole crowd of people going around us, and it like slowly starts to like become people like stopping to watch a little. They're like, and circle ends up getting fucking so huge, and so many people are there watching us, like just touching each other, whatever. And I think I sucked his dick a little bit. He sucked mine, and then I bet him over and just started fucking him, and everyone was freaking out. It was a really cool moment though, because that was like the first scene of the day, and some trans women passed by. And nice. I hear these girls go, oh, yes, honey, you better show out for the girls. And that made me so happy because I went in scared thinking that this is more for gay men and like, more, oriented for them. And so I didn't feel like I had a place there. And I was really nervous. So I got there and I was like, am I going to stick out in a bad way? Like, am I even supposed to be here? I don't feel like this is my place, you know? Because we had Miss Story Alley, and that's the more like queer trans one. And so hearing that made me so happy to like be out there representing for the dolls because the girls were so happy. I could just see them. Yes, girl. Yes, you better fuck him. Oh yeah, she's gorgeous, and gorgeous girls can have dicks too, and blah blah blah. And they're just sitting there talking, and it made me so happy, and it like kind of exhilarated me and made me, like I said, I like an audience, and so like that's why the crew always is like it's so exciting for me. But like doing it in public, first time having a full big audience of people, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And so, yeah, we ended up having, I think, like 9 different scenes that day, and we just fucked all over the place. So cool. I like fisted him here, and I was the one doing all the things. So I was just like fucking him, fisting him, I don't know, I just blew his mind. And that was one of his like biggest wants, was always to do that. And so being able to like fulfill that fantasy for him was really, really cool for me, because I was really nervous, and I was like, but I want to do this for my man, And so we had so much fun.
You mentioned dolls, which is a good segue.
Yes.
Hello, scientists.
Hello.
We see that you're making some progress on the transformable android. We want to take it in a different direction. We want you to make them sexier. Have you thought about breasts?
Guys don't want breasts. They want personality.
Yeah, they want personality. We are ready to thrust you into the future with our latest, greatest, most salacious invention yet. The dolls.
Androids, big slay.
Okay.
Avery, answer me at once.
We don't have time for this. We have to find the dolls immediately and shut them down.
Which is a
Do
good
it for the
segue.
dolls. Do it for the dolls.
So speaking of doing it for the dolls, another project that you did with us this past year, which was one of my favorites, was the Transfixed feature, D.O.L.S.
My first feature.
So for those who don't know, can you share, like, because D.O.L.S is often used as a kind of like slang term, or not slang term, but like term of empowerment for certain trans women, right? So can you give us the legend of D.O.L.S as a kind of term of endearment?
Like, what D.O.L.S means to us?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's just like very like put together little, like, you're just playing dress up. I don't know, like, it feels like it, and not in like that way, just feels like, I don't know, there's just like this like extraness to us that we can do, obviously an extraness, but yeah, I don't know, we all just like love like primping ourselves and making ourselves look so cute, and we just like little dolls, and like I feel like we're just like always playing with that like term, because we're always putting it on for everyone, and so for me especially, like my man is like the one who dresses me and like puts me together. He's like always choosing my outfits, doing all that. And so it feels like I'm just a little doll. I just feel like a little doll in this little world, And so, yeah, all the girls, we love being dolls.
So Chloe K,
yes,
who we've worked with a lot
My
as well at
favorite.
Adult Time. I remember that she told me that her greatest source of inspiration were the Bratz dolls.
Yes, same.
Yeah, and
Same.
I've heard that a lot.
Most of the girls, we relate to the Bratz more than the Barbies.
Yes. And so when we were coming up with the concept for this year's movie, I was like, we have to like make dreams come true and make you all like living Bratz dolls.
Yes.
So what was your experience like making that movie?
Oh, it was so much fun. I absolutely love all of the things that we did on set. We actually, Chloe and I still do the, it's like, what is it? Trandroids? Big slay. And so and then we do the little thing, because I told them that me and Chloe and the girls, we were like sitting there, and I was like, it'd be really cute if we like have a thing that like we always do, like the whole big slay thing. Because I think it was who was it on? I feel like it was Steve who brought up like say big slay, because we had been saying it all day.
Yeah.
And so then he goes, so how about big slay? And so we were like, okay, we're gonna do that. And then what are we gonna do when that happens? And so we wanted to have this whole little thing to make like we're dolls, we're like little, androids. Anytime we do that, then we like do this whole thing. And so we're like, okay, and do the little and like walk like that. And so now we do the little doll walk, and we do this little jump, and like it's like a little rabbit walk. It's so cute. It was so much fun. I loved that project. We all really worked really hard, because it was like 3 days of shooting, wasn't it? I think it was like 3 days of shooting. The teams were great. The makeup artists really killed it.
Lots of special effects.
Oh my goodness. The special effects were really cool. Shooting it, I was like nervous about like doing it. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how's it gonna look?
Stand there naked for hours.
Yes, exactly. And it was, I think, my favorite part about watching that over is it makes me laugh how many times we turned me. excuse me, because we were because of the effects, we aren't supposed to have body parts.
Yeah.
And so I'm the one in the center. I don't know if you remember that. And every single time there was a different shot. If you guys go watch it, I'm like, every time my ass is what you see to the camera. But it's so funny because you'll be literally like, the girls are talking this way, and then it'll switch to another angle with the girls talking, and I'm always back to the camera, which is so funny. So it's like, just moving.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun. I had a great time with that. I like really learned how to stay as still as possible, which I was really happy when I watched it. I was like, wow, I stayed still as fuck. Like, I really killed that. Like,
you did. You did, but that was such a fun project. You had a watch party for it, right? Like, didn't you watch it with a big group?
Yes, a bunch of my friends. Yeah, a bunch of my friends that I fuck, because I fuck a lot of my friends, just so you know. I brought them all over and we watched, and it was so much fun. We were all jacking off to it, and it was really hot.
So you've only been in the mainstream industry for 2 years.
Yes,
but I'm hearing the quote that I have here is that you've already racked up like nearly 40 nominations.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you're definitely on the scene. Your star is rising.
Solidified.
You are big slay.
Big slay. Well, yes.
What's look? See, we can all be cool, Zariah. What's on your porn bucket list next besides the blow bang? Which
that was gonna be one of the things I was gonna say. Just like a gangbang too. Like, I don't know, like something with like a bunch of people. I just want like a ton of people all on me thinking about just me, because it's all about me.
Good. Okay. Everybody take notes. If that's what you want, you let us know in the comments.
Yes.
All right, my dear. We're going to end with a couple of rapid fire questions. Okay. So these are the first thing that comes to mind when you hear this. Okay, this is going back to Nicky. So we did a blog interview with you a few months ago, and you mentioned edging for hours with Nicky. What's the longest edging session you two have had?
Oh, God. Like 8 to 10 hours.
Lord.
It was really hard on my dick. I was literally raw. Like, I would mess up my skin. I remember I couldn't fuck for like a few days for sure. Like, I had scabs all over because I'm uncut. So like my skin, there's just a lot of skin there. And so just the friction and just moving back and forth was just a lot. And then just like fucking him for so long, and then like stopping, and then like jacking off, and then fucking him some more, and then like, I don't know, it was just really, really tough on me. So about 8 to 10 hours.
Wow. So I
feel like we've done a little bit more than that, but like, I don't want to like overdo it with the time, but for sure 8 to 10 hours, because we've done it so many times that we'll be like starting, and then like we finish, we're like, oh my God, how long was that? Like,
you're like timing it.
Yeah, we'll like look at the time, we're like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
All right, so
It's insane. It's insane.
What's the most surprising porn myth that you found out isn't true?
That not everyone on set is fucking. That pissed me off. It pissed me off. I really thought everyone really thinks that everyone's just always fucking. That's what everyone always tells me too. People like talk to me. They're like, oh, so you like fuck with the people who like record you and like this and the other. And I'm like, not on set.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because like obviously it's different. Like there's some people that you will potentially, because they also are performers, but not on set.
Yeah.
You know? And so that was the one that I was like so
it's
mad
that it's
about.
too professional.
It's too professional.
Well, we like it being professional, Zariah, but it is, you're right, that a lot of people just assume kind of like people in trench
it's a free for all.
coats and
it's just a free for all. That
Yeah.
it's just like and I so like same with like the whole like thinking that like everyone's just gonna be coming on to you and stuff. Like I really assumed that it was just like way less professional and that like just everyone's being all like whatever. And I don't know, it's definitely not like that.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear for you that it has not been your experience, even if that is your fantasy.
Okay. Yeah.
So you as a performer are a versatile performer, so you both top and bottom. Would you rather, we're going to conclude with a would you rather question, would you rather only bottom for the rest of your life or never be able to orgasm again?
Only bottom. Yeah. Because I need to be able to orgasm, you know?
Because even though you can edge for 8 to 10 hours, you need to pop at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if I'm bottoming, I can still touch myself. I can still, you know?
There you go. It's true. Awesome. Thank you so much, Zariah, for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing all of your fantasies. so much about your story and your background. I think it's really important for people to hear, like, as we were talking about at the beginning of this convo, like, there is no one experience. There is no trans porn. There is it's so important to show every journey being unique, no matter what your journey is or who you are. So thank you for sharing yours. Shout out to Nicky. Let's give Nicky a shout out.
Thanks for making me cry, babe.
Thanks for making Zariah cry for the first time.
Yo, this is the first time you guys have
This is the first time we brought out tissues. Now I want all crew to take note. We need to have a box of tissues.
Just in case when it gets real like that.
Thank you so much.
Thank
all right, we
you.
did it. Woo!
Thank you, Bree.
All righty. Thank you, guys.